And we are live. Man, it's been a hot minute since uttered those words. Hello to all my BC WrestlePod nerds out there, and welcome to another rendition of the Takedown Troupe, your weekly TNA review show here at BC WrestlePod. I am back. I have returned from my excursion, my hiatus, my mini vacation, if you will. I got lost in the wilderness and I came back because I wanted to. No, but I'm super excited. Before we get into everything, of course, I got to introduce the crew that we got going on for this week. Of course, you know him, you love him. Telling us funny stories about how animals might be doing the darndest things to his equipment. We have Mr. JT in the house. Hi, JT.
What's going on? Yeah, we were originally talking about how one of my flat top TV screens got taken out by a chicken. So I'll let you just kind of play with the scenario as you will.
It's what you get for having Mark Briscoe come over your house, you know?
And of course, rounding out our trifecta trio tonight is Mr. Radio Free Will himself holding it down. Hi, Will.
What up?
Man, it's crazy. You've been invited back so many times, and here we are. So
here we are indeed.
Yes, we are.
If we were anywhere else, we'd be in trouble.
That is very true as well. So before we get into everything in our review of the Go Home show for TNA this week before Slammiversary, a couple of housekeeping items, if you will. If you enjoy what you see here on the screen, whether it was through the algorithm, a friend, or you just randomly saw, who are these nerds reviewing TNA wrestling? I'm glad you found us regardless. We here at BC WrestlePod cover everything from the weekly shows to the pay-per-views to all the good stuff. But we understand that long-form content might not be up to your speed, so that is why you should follow us, please, at the social medias at BC WrestlePod, where we have clips of all of our shows that summarize the main points. We do the report cards for the weekly shows and the pay-per-views and special events. And yeah, I was on vacation, but we still grinding out here because, boy, this weekend and this upcoming week is about to be on and popping. So this is going to be very fantastic. But I do have a couple of other announcements before we get into our review. First and foremost, you, of course, are missing Papa Oso tonight. He is currently dealing with some stuff, but hopefully he will be back to there soon. And I did not mention this to Radio Free Will, so I'm going to kind of put him on the spot a little bit, but in a good way possible. So, as you all know, Radio Will is the newest member here. Be like, hey, do you want to come review wrestling? Sure, why not? I think it's been long enough, and as El Jefe of BC WrestlePod, I would like to formally introduce Radio Free Will as a permanent fixture of our BC WrestlePod family. So you are now the 13th member.
Oh, good. That's always lucky.
Yeah, the 13th member has never gone wrong before.
Isn't that the reason that they one of the reasons they hired Frodo is or not Frodo, Bilbo. They hired Bilbo because with all the dwarves and Gandalf that made 13. No, we can't have that. So we also need someone sneakier than the rest of these dwarves. So we'll get this hobbit who has never left the Shire.
But we'll call him a burglar instead.
What could possibly go wrong?
No,
everything, and we're here for it all. But yes, shout out to Minnie in the chat. Yes, Minnie, we are now officially at 13 members, which is the same number of Final Fantasy entry that was my entry point to the franchise. That was the first Final Fantasy I played.
So sorry.
I'm so old. Holy moly. I forgot. There's 14 of them now, right? Something like that?
No, they're up to 16.
16, that's right.
There's a 16th now. 15 was Boy Band Simulator 2021. 16, from what I understand, they sort of got back to the more classic high fantasy kind of stuff. But there was one element where each summon had a keeper, I guess.
It was an interesting thing.
Yeah, never actually played, but I do play Magic the Gathering, so all of the dominance, that's what they called it, because that's not awkward phrasing at all. being the dominant of a particular summon. There's what possible jokes could you make out of that? That's just, so insane. And they turn into these creatures.
It's an interesting go, but yeah. So Radio Will is officially our 13th member, and before anybody asks, 9 is my favorite Final Fantasy. You're gonna have to follow us on the social medias if you want more information as to why I like 9. I knew I was in good company. I love you nerds so much. I love you nerds so much.
Number 7. That's it's.
I can get really, really close up, but that's Red 13's tattoo on my arm.
Yes!
Nice.
This is the best crew ever. Don't tell the other teams. I'm just kidding. No, but I'm super excited to have Radio as our official member. We are, I'm just collecting them like Pokemon cards. Like everybody's here. It's 3 years ago. It was just 5 of us. Now it has grown to 13. And Benny, if you are watching, you are technically our honorary 14th member. We just adding people, you guys, into this little weird family of ours, which I love heavily. But speaking of weird families, guys, we got to talk about our weird little family collection here in TNA, because this episode was packed with so many stuff. And I was like, I feel like we could have cut certain things, but it is what it is. I was like, as soon as I saw the card, I was like, why is there like 9 matches on my card tonight? Like, what is this, a pay-per-view? Like, what is happening? And then once the episode ended, I was like, oh, okay. So really, it was only like 6, but we'll get into all that there.
True.
So we are gonna go through TNA and then stick around, because we are going to be doing our predictions for Slammiversary, which is finally upon us, which is crazy. We're also going to talk about some of the things that happened and what we're expecting. So this is going to be an interesting time for TNA. But without further ado, let's just jump in. So of course, we get a recap of what happened last week. We get our Cross the Line theme song. We get introduced and welcomed by our commentary panel of the evening in Mr. Tom Hannafan and the Drama King, Matthew Raywald, which I love this commentary team. And we just jumped straight in because we had our first match of the evening. This was Moose versus Sami Callihan. Sami, I love you. But once we got through you and Mance's rivalry from the spring, we kind of find yourself here. So I love the Death Machine. I really, really do. He has my little heart. I do. This was given some time, but maybe you two can disagree with me. But I was like, Sami, I love you. You got squashed here. Like, this is...
Yeah.
So,
like, the thing about go-home shows I find is that... And, now that I'm thinking about it, that is... So go-home shows are usually, like, one last chance to, like, ramp up some hype for the coming pay-per-view, right? So, like, when TNA has, filmed these all in advance, like, what do you do? Like, any match here is kind of a foregone conclusion. Like, you're not going to, like, having, Moose versus Sami Callihan, this is like, I suppose you could start planting seeds for, like, another storyline after Slammiversary, but, like, it's, what's going to happen here. This is not going to be a surprise.
Yeah, it was almost this could have been an email. I like to say that a lot.
Yes.
It was seriously, like, I started watching this and I was so just like, I was like, okay, these are 2 pretty huge powerhouses. Like, let's see how this is going to go. And I was just like, wow, I've never hit that fast forward 30 seconds button in my, like, as fast as I possibly could. I was like, oh, yeah, nope, okay, all right, okay, we're done.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And I was a little bummed about that because this is my first match seeing Sami Callihan in action. So, like, because he has it, like, he's been around the last few weeks, but not in matches.
Yeah. Yeah. It's pretty much if he's not in some form of, like, excruciating death match or something, like, this is just kind of, I mean, this wasn't even an exhibition. Like, Yeah.
This may as well have been a promo.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, maybe that's, like you said, maybe it is a foreshadowing, like maybe there's going to be some long-time rivalry after Slammiversary between Moose and Sammy. Like, that'd be pretty cool, but like if you did, there was kind of a waste.
Well, you both brought up this, so of course Moose wins, fine. And then of course everybody's favorite noise to hear in TNA. Do you want to know something?
I swear, like it's like nails on a chalkboard to me every time.
I think I would probably lose my TNA team. I was like, do I want to make that a soundboard bit for this show? And the answer to that is now I'm going to. But yeah, so Alicia Edwards gets on the mic, hands it off to Moose. So,
although I will say the fact that she can like just turn my spine into knots with just those words, better heel work than anything MJF has ever said. Don't get me wrong, MJF, one of my favorite wrestlers in the business right now, like high on the running for one of my favorite wrestlers of all time, and it's all because of his heel work as a promo guy. Do you want to know something? Oh my God, shut the fuck up already. It gives me that visceral, like wrestling mark reactions, like, oh my, just stop talking already.
And thankfully, Alicia did. Alicia the person, we love you. I love you. But your character, girl. Anyways, so, and JT, to bring this up, because essentially what you said, if this leads into a feud for Moose and Sammy, after all this is said and done, cool. Because essentially, that's what Moose's promo did. He spent like the first 20% talking about his match against Leon Slater for the X Division Championship come Slammiversary this Sunday. And then he just decided to, call Sammy worthless, call him a fat turd, like telling him to hang it up. And then Sammy proceeding to unlace the boots, unlacing the boots, and then decides to roll out of the ring. I was like, Sammy Callahan, don't you dare do this to me. I mean, granted, you've been here forever. You've been wrestling forever, but even still, please don't let this just be a thing. And let this be a feud. Because otherwise, why? Why was this promo even here?
We need this as a feud.
I hope so.
It's fun, like, to think about this as like making this a feud is, again, a lot of the, like, I took notes that first week. A lot of this is now just going to be off the dome. So this is, I'm thinking about it now, and it almost strikes me as like TNA might be taking some notes from AEW of the notion of like, just get as many feuds out as we can, get as many, like, and like, if it ends up looking like a spider web, then it ends up looking like a spider web. Who cares? It doesn't have to be massive faction versus massive faction. It can be like, and I mean, I'm an AEW fan. I will glaze them up until next week, in which case they'll do something awesome and I'll glaze them up again, but it's like, and as we just saw with All In, the notion of like Hangman Adam Page is like, yeah, he's still kind of feuding with Swerve, who is also a babyface, and Will Ospreay's in the middle. They're trying to patch it up, and then like Mox is over here doing, and it's just like, yeah, there's all different angles to go with. It doesn't have to be just like, I'm a fighty guy, you're a fighty guy, let's fight. There can be more to it, and I like that. So it's so for them to be like, okay, Sammy Callahan, yeah, let's throw Moose is going to start, fat shaming Sammy Callahan, and Sammy Callahan just turns around like, no, okay, like, I'll flatten you.
Deck him in the face.
Yeah.
And I hope that's what it is. And I feel like TNA is one of the few promotions that I feel like, because their roster size is so, I don't want to say small, manageable is the word I'm going to use. Since their roster is so manageable, I would love to see them utilize their whole roster. And I mean, we kind of started seeing inklings of what's going to be what I call the road to Bound for Glory. Because after Slammiversary, we got Emergence, Victory Road, and ultimately Bound for Glory. So let's get these next 3 pay-per-view cycles worth of people and feuds and things like that.
Mhm.
So again, hopefully this leads to something. Otherwise, TNA, why do we have Moose degrade Sami Callihan? But I digress. From here, though, we move on because then we were supposed to get this match. We were supposed to get. Didn't I called this last week though? I called this last week because I was just like, as soon as we saw that segment, Order 4 versus the System, I was just like, Dark State's about to mess everything up. And what happened?
Dark State messed everything up. Although there was a great bit. Someone on commentary said, like, this is retaliation. I was like, no, that was Ali's other faction from NXT.
Retribution. So I don't want to say it definitely helps because Tuesday from the System coming in and attacking Dark State on NXT, then this travels into here where they're going after the System. And I was just like, y'all are going to make me root for the System, aren't you, TNA? All right. I was like, okay.
Also, can I just say for a second, Dark State, guys, listen. I know you're kind of aiming for like somewhere at the crossroads of not the crossroads, but like at the crossroads, at the intersection of the Shield and Retribution, somewhere in there. Like that's what you're aiming for. But like your finishing move's a quadruple power bomb. Like
he loves to play the greatest hits.
Like, the triple bomb, the triple power bomb was pushing it. Okay, let's be real. That was pushing it. A quadruple. That's like. Do you remember that meme? There was a viral video a while back of Patrick Stewart saying, like, talking about a take, a double take, a triple take, and a quadruple take. You know, and it's like it got to the like, and he's saying like, and like this is an act like a take is, you know, reacting to something. A double take is like, yes, wait, what? And then a triple take is like, hey, wait, no, hold on, what? And he said, like, for the quadruple take, you got to go full over the top, like he literally did this. He was like, that's where we're at with the power bombs, folks.
Yeah. It was, this was a thing that happened. So of course, Order 4 is just watching from the ramp. They're like, okay, we're gonna leave. Bye. That's I was like, all right, this is fine.
You guys got this under control. We'll meet you back at catering.
So anybody who has watched our NXT reviews, like, they know how I feel about Dark State. Like, I'm never against the factions in wrestling promotions, but if you're going to create a faction and you're going to give them something, and then they go to NXT's biggest pay-per-view of the year, win a match, and I was like, cool, and then they disappear for like 2 months, I was just like, what was the point of me? Like, what was the point of this? And I don't wish anything bad upon anybody. Like, these 4 guys, they're forming a faction. Love them. I was like, good for them. The only person I care about, and that's because I have some prior hand knowledge to his work on the independent scenes, is Mr. Saquon Sugars. That is the only one I care about in this group. Everybody else, I was just like, Mr., looking like cowboy over here. I was just like, you were eliminated halfway through a team under like LFG season 1, but somehow you're still here. Dex, I love you, but like, this is not the good look for you. And I'm just like, I can't with this group. I can't. And TNA, I'm mad that you're going to make me root for the System this Sunday. And I'm mad at you. I'm mad at you. So this match never happens. Dark State attacks the System. We are going to get a part 2 and slightly 2.5 later in the show. So Dark State's not done here, unfortunately. So we move on though. Danny Luna, I've missed you on my screen. I'm happy that you're back into singles action. It's been a couple of weeks, girl. So Gia Miller is backstage with Danny Luna, interviewing her about her upcoming match against Tessa Blanchard. Danny is looking to redeem herself now that her and her tag team partner Jody Threat had to break up, as that was the stipulation for their last time they went after the tag title. Danny is looking to redeem herself in the singles division and pick up a win against Tessa Blanchard. Everyone's so focused on her Tessa and Indy's match at Slammiversary, but she wants to start getting back into the conversation of going after the TNA Knockouts Championship. Spoiler alert, it does not go Danny's way, as we'll discuss in a little bit. But Danny, I love you. Girl, how are we 23 years old and you're throwing girls like way across the ring? It's wild to me. Oh, that hurt my soul to say too. I'm like, she's 20. Anyhow, but speaking of which,
I mean, if she'd like to throw me around, I volunteer as tribute. But
subculture in the UK have taught Danny Luna well. I love them so much. But we get to said match. This is Tessa Blanchard versus Danny Luna. Of course, we have Victoria Crawford in Tessa's corner. Listen, putting aside everything that we have said on the numerous occasions with Tessa, I actually really like this match. In-ring wise, Tessa is decent, and Danny is fantastic. This is actually a pretty solid match. I'm sad that Danny did not win. I'm not going to lie to you guys. But hey, you know what? We're building into Slammiversary. Tessa is getting a win because we got to figure out who's going to win between her and Indy. Spoiler alert, I'm rooting for Indy all the way. You can never make me pick Tessa. I don't care.
Yeah.
But no, honestly, I really did enjoy this match. I thought both of them worked very well together. Danny Luna, I love. Listen, in a true Forbidden Door world, I want her and Willow Nightingale to give me a matchup where who's the truly babe with the power. Not even going front. Like, Danny Luna gives me Willow Nightingale energy here in TNA, and I love it. But no, I really enjoyed this match. They worked very well together. This was a lot more hard-hitting and snug than I thought, especially on Danny Luna's part. But, I enjoyed this. Like I said before, Tessa does win this here. So now let's get into this, because the first couple matches we didn't really need to talk about because they didn't last that long. But this was actually the first proper match of the evening, which was kind of crazy. So, JT, I'm going to come to you first. What did you think of Tessa versus Danny?
Like you said, it was actually a really cool match to watch. There was later into the match when she got that kind of neck injury going on, where they address it later in the show. But I'm with you. Like, I need something to happen to Tessa that it takes her down a peg or two. And I was hoping that this may have done it for this episode. And I was like, the disappoint. But it was a good match. I really liked watching it.
Fair assessment. All right, Radio, what you think of this one?
Yeah, it was solid. Like I had, this is my first time seeing Danny Luna in the ring. Besides, that women's Royal Battle Royal a couple weeks ago, but that doesn't count. There was one particularly like hellacious looking bump that she took, falling backwards off the turnbuckle. I can't remember how the setup for it though, off the top of my head. But yeah, no, that's really solid match all around.
Great. Awesome. Cool. So Tessa does again pick up the victory after the match. We have Victoria and Tessa start stomping on Danny Luna and attack her. And of course, she is saved afterwards, rolling into the ring. And Miss Indy Hartwell, Victoria and Tessa, bolt for the ramp. Indy gets on the mic. This was kind of like the final go-home shot for this particular match heading into Slammiversary this Sunday. Indy says, basically this whole thing is Indy's like, I want you to take accountability without... We as wrestling fans love this because she's referring to the things without referring to the things, which we love. And so Indy's like, I'm going to take you down a peg, bitch. And I was like, please, TNA. Tessa can take a loss. Don't let Indy take a loss, please.
Well, and honestly, this is another one of those things. And the only reason I wasn't super invested into this match is because it felt like another one of those ones. Like I said earlier, it's sort of a foregone conclusion of sort of like who is going to win, because it's not. And I mean, I know they cut to a promo later on of Danny potentially teaming up with Indy Hartwell, but because it wasn't directly Tessa Blanchard versus Indy Hartwell, it it's one of those things, like, because it's not sort of pushing the Slammiversary narrative forward, it lacks some of the, like, oh, what's going to happen here? It's like, okay, it's an exhibition for one of the people that's about to go into Slammiversary, because Danny Luna doesn't have a match at Slammiversary. At least that's been booked. And if it's not booked now, it's not happening. You know, knocking on wood, barring, you know, barring catastrophic accident, we all just went through All In and saw what Adam Cole said. But you know, barring anything like that happening, it's, if she's not on the books already, she's not on the books. You know.
No. So this was the final shot for this match. We're gonna get into it a little bit later because we might be teasing some stuff down the line with, you know, Indy and Danny, and, you know, come Jody when we get to it. We get a quick pre-tape promo from The Inspiration. I love my girls here. I loved them so much. God, I hope they win on Sunday. So here's the thing. This promo in itself, basically, they talk about how the Elegance brand's title run has been cute. But again, both of them have re-solidified that the reason they came back to TNA was to get back what they lost, which was those Knockouts Tag Team Championships. And come Sunday, they're going to bring an end to the Elegance brand and start the most iconic, God, I love them so much, title reign of the TNA Knockouts division. And I'm just like, yes, girls. God, I hope you win Sunday. God, I hope you win. Because, well, we'll get into it when we talk about it, because there's a lot of segments that just bled right into each other. But love to see our girls back. Love them. We won't talk about you during the predictions, because I feel like this whole entire feud started off great, and then we kind of just lost the plot a little bit, because both teams have had little interaction in the last 3 weeks, which is kind of crazy to me, but, you know, it is what it is. Please let them win, TNA. Please. Speaking of which, let's talk about this Elegance brand promo, because this bleeds into what happens. We got a bunch of our knockout segments just bled together. So the Elegance brand come down to the ring. Ash gets on the mic. They address the Inspiration, talking about how they're not going to take the Knockouts Tag Team Championships, and also reminding us that Ash does have a future Knockouts World title shot at some point. And I'm like, so then you should probably lose these titles, but it is what it is at this point. So, but then the Elegance brand gets interrupted by their NXT counterparts in Fatal Influence, which is our NXT Women's Champion JC Jane with her cronies of Fallon Henley and Jasmine Nix. The Elegance brand and the Fatal Influence girls begin to start arguing, specifically Ash and JC, going back and forth, talking about how they're the best women's faction, and I call bullshit on that. Here's the thing. I have a soft spot for Ash because I got to interview her about a year ago, and she is the sweetest person, and I love her to death. But let's be all the way real, girls. A Fatal Influence and Elegance brand is the best women's faction currently in WWE or in wrestling as a whole. I call shenanigans and bullshit on that one. But you know what? It is a promo. They continue to go back and forth until, again, everything just bled together because we didn't have time to process any of that, because we get interrupted by our TNA Knockouts World Champion, Masha Slamovich. Ash is like, you know what? This beef ain't got nothing to do with me, so we gonna dip. And I love that as the Elegance brand was walking up the ramp with Masha coming down, Masha punked out Ash, which was kind of funny to watch, scaring her a little bit. Masha gets into the ring and addresses JC in all of this, because JC's values as a champion is perfection. Masha says that she is the rough around the edges type of person. She's also the better wrestler, not even going front, because she dominated that NXT 6-woman tag team match when she teamed up with Zaruka. But I digress. And Masha ends this promo saying is that JC is going to have to kill her to take this TNA, women's knockouts championship. I also kind of like the fact that Masha told JC is like, I don't think you're ready for the weight of being a double champion. I was like, you ain't ready for Masha. And I was like, no, she ain't. And if you lose on Sunday, Masha, I am going to have to consider my life choices. I'm not even going front.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to riot.
It like between this, Trick Williams still having the NXT title, the TNA title, still having the TNA title, and the post credits scene that we got at the end of this episode, which I know we're getting to. It's basically a done deal that TKO bought these guys, right? Like it's pretty much like it's done, right? It's a foregone conclusion. It's
right.
Like anyway. Well, don't get me. That soapbox is over there. I will go get it when we get to the good bit.
What radio is trying to say is that next Friday's review of Slammiversary, we're either going to be extremely happy or we are going to have pitchforks and torches ready.
Yep.
So we'll talk. Yeah, we got, as cliched it is to say, we got to see how the dust settles on Sunday because, this is going to be interesting. But I was like, Masha, I love you, girl. Please, TNA, don't let her lose. Like, there are like 3 matches where I need certain people to win because I don't know where we're going for Bound for Glory after that. But let's go.
Oh God, I just got a terrifying thought.
Oh no. Hang on.
Because if they put the TNA women's title on JC,
and
they have the TNA men's title on Trick, are they going to work towards unifying the belts?
Oh God, I hope not.
They better fucking not.
Look, I was like, I'm not. Here's the thing. It's already bad enough for TNA if you unify this, but I also feel like, again, my issues with WWE aside, I also feel like it doesn't help with the NXT men's and women's championship because, how do I put this nicely?
Don't put it nicely. Just say it. Just get it out.
While NXT has a bigger budget and has money and has all the facilities and everything, I'm gonna be so for real. Let's use JC. If she walks away as a double champ and then leading towards unifying the championship, I'm looking at the NXT women's roster right now, and I'm just like, I love all the women over there, but I was just like, outside of Jordan Grace, there is not a single woman on that roster Well, no, I take that back. Right now, there's not a single woman in that roster I feel like would be a good definition of being a unified champ crossing over between NXT and TNA. Because as small as this Knockouts roster is on TNA, I'm going to be so for real. The TNA women's division has a bit more seasoning when it comes to their women's division in terms of wrestling. Well, then again, NXT, go ahead.
And see, that's what I'm saying, though, is that if they unify the titles, then that basically just sort of solidifies that TKO buys TNA, and they will be effectively rebrand it to NXT West or NXT South or NXT, or like they will.
My brain.
It will just be another NXT basically. Like you'll have 2 brands. You'll have the 2 main roster brands, Raw and SmackDown, and then you'll have the 2 developmental brands of NXT and TNA basically.
There's too many levels for WWE right now because someone made a whole entire chart because also don't forget, as somebody who watches WWE evolve too and is
they've got LFG, they've got so much going on.
Me and Andrew, of course, because of the work with GCW, we keep an eye out on the showcases for the ID program. It's a whole thing. TNA doesn't need to be a part of that. Will TKO eventually get TNA? Probably at some point. But for right now, I just want to get through Slammiversary and have certain people win, and then I can tackle that existential dread when that inevitable day comes. But for right now, Masha girl, please. Anyways, moving on. So Danny Luna and Indy Hartwell are back in the Bioflex Lounge of the doctor's office of TNA, so to
Bioflex
speak.
Lounge.
These sponsorships for TNA is kind of wild. I will say though, my favorite is their blacksmith apparel sponsorship and collaboration they got, because them football jerseys be looking fire. And I'm talking about the football soccer, not football Americano. Those soccer jerseys that they be wearing and those tracksuits, as expensive as they are, they be fire. But Jody Threat, our lovable redhead over here, is running in to check on Danny Luna. Danny Luna's, girl, where were you? Indy was here. Indy's like, hey girl, I got this. I was like, we do need more feuds after Slammiversary. And since Danny and Jody are no longer a tag team, they are no longer Spitfire, I would not mind if these girls plus Indy have some sort of rivalry after Slammiversary. But then that also doesn't bode well, because I don't want Indy to lose at Slammiversary. But I digress. So, again, planting the seeds. Hopefully, we start to see some growth in the next couple of weeks leading into the next pay-per-view after Slammiversary, which is Emergence.
Yes.
So
the hometown guy. I love this guy.
So this was stupid, but like in the best way possible. I love Hometown Man, which we all know is Cody Deaner under that mask, but they are continuing with the gimmick where he is wearing a team sports jersey in every city that he is in. And I'm okay with this. There is only one small problem about this. Hometown Man, everything's great. This is a match against Northern Armory's Judas Icarus. So I loved everything about this because this was stupid. But this is my kind of stupid. And I love this. However, my only issue is with this whole entire match, and this is something I've been saying, and I don't know if TNA is going to fix it anytime soon. I have the fortunate/unfortunate knowledge that Judas Icarus also, and his tag team partner, known as Sinner and Saint on the Independents, they are an amazing tag team. And honestly, I would put them in my top 5 currently working, so I could see them putting on bangers against like the best tag teams in the world. I still hate them with Eric Young. I know we have to establish them. They are the Northern Armory. I was just like, I love Eric Young. I will always love Eric Young, but I need Sinner and Saint. I don't need Northern Armory, if that makes any sense. But Hometown Man is great. I love him.
Maybe this will be one of those breakout things that, like, it sounds like they're starting to separate Eric Young and
Sinner and Saint.
You're not seeing them very often together, so maybe they're having that little bit, like they're just kind of driving the wedge. It might take a slow minute, but it's getting there.
And I'm hoping this is going to be the thing where Eric Young's obsession with the Hometown Man is what drives the wedge. Is like, you have gone off your rocker, sir. We gonna dip. But yeah, this was a short match. Hometown Man beats Judas Icarus. Eric Young getting more disheveled with that beard going on and looking crazier, chasing the Hometown Man while the Hometown Man escapes into the crowd. This was so dumb, you guys, but I love this so much.
It brings a smile to my face every time I see Hometown Man, because like it's not even about how he wrestles. It's what is he going to look like for this current hometown session? Like what's the ensemble going to be? How's he going to move? How's he going to do things? Like I'm
his gear budget must be nuts.
Oh yeah, 100%. That's pretty much all they did. Is they're like, you know what? We're going to tone down all the other stuff, but we're going to amp up your wardrobe.
I love this. I was like, Hometown Man is TNA's version of a creator wrestler from any wrestling game out there, and I am here for it. Yep. I would go as far to say Hometown Man would probably be the character I create for my career mode of any wrestling game. I'm not even going to lie. So I love this.
Well, TNA has a bit of a history of doing that with Suicide.
Yeah, there was Suicide. Don't forget, we also had our Shark Boy as well. So this is a lot of fun.
And Christopher Daniels as Curry Man.
Yes, Curry Man. Oh, Christopher Daniels, I love you. I'm very interested, and I'm hoping that this new faction he's leading with Scorpio and Top Flight and Layla goes places, because they are great. But
I need them to have a tag team. I need them to be heels because I need them to. I need a tag team match. Top Flight versus Jet Speed.
Yeah,
A tag team match with just like, you know what, guys, let's just turn the gravity off in this particular match. Just like, there we go. Like, there you go. You guys just float around, just defy gravity for, you know, a few minutes. Have fun.
Exactly. So I'm excited. I really hope that we get more development for Hometown Man and Eric Young's feud. So I'm excited to see where this goes after Slammiversary. I'm here for the ride. For the second week in a row, you guys, Real One is back in the building. This promo was just as wild as the first one. But I'm gonna be so for real. The most important thing that comes out of this is that Real One here is not coming alone to Slammiversary. He is going to be bringing a Bishop, which we'll talk about in our predictions. And then he just casually drops that he's going to be bringing a Fatu to this joint at Slammiversary Sunday. I'm like, excuse me? How you just go roll up with Zilla Fatu up in this piece? Like, this is wild to me. I was like, I'm not gonna lie, you guys. I know of Zilla Fatu. I've been following Zilla. I watch his matches on the independent scene. I love him. Never in my wildest dreams that in 2025 on my wrestling bingo card would I see him be wrestling in TNA. This is buck wild. Wild.
I would have thought that he would have jumped right to WWE just to be part of the bloodline or something. But yeah, no, this is but that might be his next step. We'll get there.
Look, as much as I want to keep Zilla away from WWE as far as possible, not until later down the line, if this means that Zilla will be popping into TNA ever so often, I'm never going to say no because Zilla we're far enough in the show. Zilla's a fucking beast, and I love him. Also, a very sweet dude. He was our neighbor at the wrestling conference. We were at the wrestling convention we were at last year. Him and Joey Janela are like some of the coolest people ever. We love them. Mm. And it was really fun physically watching Joey just jump into his douchey bagness of a character. It was kind of crazy. But Zilla was such a sweet dude. He was really nice. He was a fun neighbor. But yeah, we won't talk about Fourth Rope versus Team TNA in our predictions because social media broke this earlier today. I was like, we have 2 matches on the countdown show. We'll get to it during predictions. Damn, never in my wildest dreams did I would see Real One, formerly known as Enzo Amore, back on my screen in this capacity. Anyways.
Did you see the video of him reunite with Big Bill on the Jericho cruise?
I did. So 2025 is a crazy time in wrestling. People are breaking up but reuniting, and the crazier things have happened. What is happening in wrestling right now? But speaking of which, we did a short little promo from Bag'em and Tag'em Bulletproof Steve Macklin, that chiseled jaw that you got, Mr. Deonna Purrazzo, if you may, basically he is ready to have an open challenge for this TNA International Championship against anybody in this company. Something tells me, because of what's being set up for Slammiversary, we might be seeing that a lot sooner than we think. Matt Cardona, I will always love you. Again, this was another match that did not happen, in all honesty, because Matt was about to have a match with the local talent, but then the lights flicker, the lights go out. Dark State Part 2 coming in for everything. They begin to attack both Matt and his opponent in the ring. Brian Myers comes out for the save, but it is 4-on-2, and then the rest of the system come out to make it the numbers game and everything. And I'm just sitting here like this. I was like, why are you giving me this TNA? I don't care about either of these two groups. But you know what? I am going to root for the system only because Matt Cardona is on it. I'm not even going to lie, you guys. Matt is the only person I'm rooting for this whole entire thing. Everybody else, I could care less. But again, I was just like, guys, this is like the third match that didn't really happen or was really, really short. Like, what's happening? Like, what was going on this episode? I was like, ugh. Anywho. Yeah, we can move on. There's really nothing else to add about this.
That's the greatest way. Just radio silence.
One thing that I did think while watching this You know what this actually reminds me a lot of, in sort of a reverse way, is the invasion angle.
Ooh.
From the early 2000s. The way
Right.
after they bought WCW and ECW, except this one actually feels like an invasion and worse.
So, I know. And look, as somebody who watches NXT and TNA, I've been saying I would love to see a potential worlds collide between these two companies. Of course, I feel, unfortunately, that TNA would be scrubbing a lot of the losses if that were to happen.
100%. Well, I mean, the fact that they're having them go against NXT and not main roster WWE is indicative of that. It's the equivalent of it's the equivalent of pin, and he's like, "Oh, I can't be bothered. Scorpion, take care of them." And then Scorpion and Rhino come over, which can do their own thing. It's like, no, I'm gonna let my Rent-A-Goons take care of this match, and like, no, you go on ahead. I have more important things to do. Like crush my opposition and try to counter program Daredevil.
I love it. But yeah, this is all to set up what we're getting at Slammiversary. We'll talk about it when we get to predictions, because right now we get into our main event. I was like, damn, we're already here. This is crazy. This was a quick episode. I'm not even gonna lie. I was just like, all right, y'all. So of course, commentary runs down what to expect at Slammiversary. We get into our main event where we have Trick Williams teaming up with TNA's Frankie Kazarian to take on what I'm gonna be so for real. These are this whole entire match with everything going on at Slammiversary. Joe Hendry and Mike Santana are probably, I'm gonna be so for real, the top two of your singles division in the men's division right now. So they are in the top of the card. I also really like this match. Frankie Kazarian, I love you. I hate that your character is still going through a midlife crisis, but we have already addressed that a numerous amount of times. Trick, love you. We still got to develop more stuff with this wrestling, because you're about to hit John Cena levels of 5 moves of doom, but you only really got like 3. Like, I'm gonna be so for real. I do say though, I love Joe and Mike Santana equally. I love seeing the two. I love the two of them kind of like having a bit of a pissing contest to try and tag in with each other during this match, which was great. And I'm messy. I like, no, we should be together, but also the girls are fighting and I'm here for it. And because I'm like, I know you two are on the same brand, but I need a bloodbath come Slammiversary. Also, I need you to not fall into the wrestling trope where you two hate each other. You're going to allow Trick Williams to pull up out women at Slammiversary, and we will not. But as far as this match goes, I actually really enjoyed it. This was a lot of fun. 3 out of the 4 of these people were really good in the ring. Trick Williams tried. I love you, Trick, but let's be so for real. Going back to my earlier comment in this episode, the TNA roster has a little bit more seasoning into the people who are on this roster, but I digress. Mike Santana gets the win by hitting the spin the block on Frankie Kazarian for the win. Mike and Joe have a bit of an angry stare down. Trick Williams comes in, and the last image before we get into our superhero movie-esque post-credit scene on actual television programming, the shot of Trick Williams holding this championship with these 3 on our screen is the last we see. All I have to say about this is, God, I hope Mike Santana wins. Yep. I love Joe, and I still believe in him, but I think Mike's time to run for this for a little bit. I think it's Mike's time. But I still believe in you, Joe Hendry. I love you. But I can't bet against my Boricua brother, Mike Santana. So, JT, before we get into our final, spoiler credit scene and talk about predictions, what did you think of our main event?
It was it was really interesting to see this because like we've been kind of talking about tonight, they've been bringing so many people from NXT in, and to have Trick there, it's nice to see new people. Like for me, everybody's new relatively because I'm still kind of new to this, but like I need more from you, Trick. Like seriously, your name is Trick. You should have more tricks. Like outside of that, I love that whole masculine stare down between Joe and Mike. Like that was just the tension grabber because you know that if this is going to go into Slammiversary, that's going to be that defining factor. Like they're gonna beef it out in the middle of a match, and they're either going to team up and probably kick the ever living crap out of Trick or something, or like they're going to get whomped and then it's going to start a feud. And I'm like, you know what? I want to see how this works. I really do. Like you said, Mikey, I really do hope that Santana gets this because he's been the track that they've been leading him down right now is like, let's give him a little bit more of that attention, and we'll go ahead and maybe put him on a pedestal or something for Slammiversary.
I hope so. We'll see again after the dust settles on Sunday what happens. Radio, any additional thoughts to our main event for the evening?
No, you guys pretty much hit the nail on the head. I've got nothing else for that.
Sweet. So, as that final image of Joe, Mike, and Trick kind of facing off against each other and staring down each other, which is probably main eventing Slammiversary, we thought the show was over. But then, like a DCU, MCU, superhero movie here, we get a post-credit scene because we get a brief at some sort of box backstage with a fading TNA logo. The box opens.
What's in the box?
And inside the box is some dusty, faded wrestling gear. And of course, this iconic P1 logo here. The rumors are true. Come Slammiversary on Sunday, AJ Styles will be returning to TNA in 19 years. WWE's main rosters, AJ Styles will be returning to TNA. And I'm just like, I'm very interested to see. Also, you're probably not winning the Intercontinental Championship at SummerSlam, but you know what? That's neither here nor there. AJ, I love you and your soccer mom haircut. But I'm very interested to see what part you play in Slammiversary.
I have complicated opinions about AJ Styles.
Express these feelings.
Hands down, one of the best in-ring performers of the last 20 years. Bar none. Like, if we're talking just pound for pound skill in the ring, both in terms of storytelling and in terms of just physical capabilities, like, I will put, like, if we're comparing, you know, that's the same caliber of performers and not just like someone who's really good on the mic, but like meh in the ring kind of thing. But like, I would put in terms of pure performance, just straight performance, I would put him up next to people like Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay and stuff like that. As a human being, he's a piece of shit.
Knew that one was coming.
Yeah. He's just like homophobe, transphobe, just like
it's really rough. It's really rough.
AJ. It's like, put it this way, at Slammiversary, there's going to be two different guys named AJ in the ring, and I'm only going to be rooting for one of them.
That's the crazy part. And the reason I left that particular promo out, because there's some heavy loaded implications of what's going to happen in that Fatal 4-Way when we talk about predictions.
Yeah.
So again, AJ will be returning to Slammiversary. Very interested to see what part he plays in all this. Going to be very, very interesting. I'm hoping that something cool can happen with this, but we'll see. But that takes us to the end of our TNA review. But oh no, we are not done quite yet, because we are now moving on into our Slammiversary predictions. Predictions. So, Radio, as our official 13th member, welcome to the official TNA Predictions League. So, to run it down for everybody here,
I feel like if I'm the official 13th, I feel like I should get Taz's tattoo somewhere, like the 13 in there. It's the
coming to the BC WrestlePod merch shop later. Temporary Taz tattoos,
or at least a Taz T-shirt. You know, it's.
I can't. I'm so excited. So, here's how the predictions leagues work. So, all the major promotions that we cover here, at least the US based ones, we have predictions leagues. So there's a predictions leagues for WWE, TNA, AEW, and we also have one for NXT, which is kind of bizarre, but hey, you know what? We do what we do here. So in said predictions league, we are competing for a full year. So the cycle for a lot of these promotions for a year, WWE, of course, we start with the pay-per-view after Mania, and then the final event of the whole predictions league for that particular year is the next Mania. TNA is a little bit weird. So our predictions league is started earlier in the year after Rebellion, because for TNA, we go from Rebellion to Rebellion. And so now we're here at the other big four. So here's how this is going to work. Throughout the whole entire year, we do our lovely little predictions where we predict and we make selections as who we think are going to be winners of certain matches that are going to be had. Last year's predictions winner, me, I got bragging rights because I wasn't going to buy myself a little replica belt, because if the winner, if it's not me in the predictions league, will get a little replica belt. However, the fun part is who is going to lose. And I have decided for TNA, this is the punishment. If you end up coming in last in Predictions League by the end of the prediction season, which is going to be April of 2026, for a couple of reviews, I have decided that we are going to get you into the we're going to get you into the makeup kit. We're going to get you a mesh crop top. You're going to be cosplaying as a Hardy for a couple of reviews should you lose the Predictions League for TNA.
Which Hardy?
But if you are the loser, you will get to pick.
Okay.
Jeff for right now, but that might change depending on your preference. Yes, you will. Actually, you know what? We will pick Jeff Hardy. You will be dressed up as Jeff Hardy for like a month of reviews.
I was could I do Broken Matt?
You know what? Loser gets to pick their choice. So now I feel like we're all gonna like tank on purpose. No, but we'll see, because TNA also does some crazy things and makes some questionable choices and sometimes hoses me in my predictions. So we'll see what happens with all of that. But that is what is at stake, Radio. So let's just jump straight into it. So we are going to go through our Slammiversary predictions. We have 2 matches that are happening on the Countdown show. And then we have our main card. All these matches are up for grabs. Countdown show is for free, starting at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern, free on YouTube, everywhere else. And then everybody's got to buy the pay-per-view or find somewhere to watch it for it to happen. So let's get into what is happening. So literally this morning, I'm like on my way home from vacation. I'm sitting in the car. I'm like traveling. I was like, okay, let me just check. I haven't really been on social media this whole week. TNA is like, breaking news. You are getting this match at the Countdown show for Slammiversary. This is what I have dubbed Team TNA versus Team Fourth Rope. This is a 6-man tag team match, which is Team TNA, which is Jake Something, our international champion, Steve Macklin, and the Southern psychopath himself, Mance Warner, taking on the team of Real One, Zilla Fatu, and Josh Bishop. And I'm just like, this is an amalgamation of characters. This is also a lot of meat in this ring. I'm not even gonna lie, guys. This is a lot of meat in this ring.
So somebody call up Big E, because his dream match is coming true.
Yes, this is
bunch of big meaty men slapping meat.
Look, listen. Especially look, Jake is a big dude. Zilla is a Samoan, so I don't even gotta say any more than that. This man is Samoan, but this again in 2025. I never in my wildest dreams did I think this would be on my wrestling bingo card this year.
So I don't know what to. I honestly don't like. This is a coin toss for me, because the other thing about this one is that I feel like this is going to have some serious ramifications for the company.
Mm.
You know what I mean? Because TNA now has this working relationship with WWE, right? Via NXT.
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean Fourth Rope is not there? Are they sort of looping Fourth Rope in on this now as well?
Right.
Is basically like TNA has, not TNA, TKO has, the lasso around TNA, and they're just kind of reeling them in. And it's like, oh, hey, we got this other indie promotion while we were doing it. Lucky us. It's didn't even hit the pin I was aiming for. And it's so, like, on that front, I would like Fourth Rope to win.
Mm.
I would like Fourth Rope to win so that we can keep an independent wrestling promotion independent.
Right.
And keep this art form diverse, and keep this art form, give people options. I know there's I come from the TTRPG world, just as many people out there saying like, oh, it has to be D&D or nothing, right? And there's probably a more of a percentage in the wrestling community that's like WWE or nothing.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's the impression I get. Like, and that's the impression I get as someone who is a fan of indie promotions, of AEW, and not even just AEW, but like some of the, the weird, like the lesser known ones than that, people that aren't afraid to get a little silly with it, like JCW. Like, okay, I bring up JCW because there was recently a video. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the YouTuber Wrestling with Regret, Brian Zane.
Yes, I love that man to death.
He recently started doing shows with JCW as a manager, and and into his his vlogs of working with JCW, like the people in JCW, including Violent J, are like, yeah, we used to do it as sort of a gag at ICP shows and the Gathering, but like we've realized that there's so much more to it. Like, we want this to be a thing. We want this to be wrestling for wrestling fans, so that like anybody can get into and make a place where we can have, people that want to do what they want to do without worrying about like, oh, is it good for creative? Oh, is it good for our brand or whatever? Like, no, just go for it.
You're going to love this. When I go through what's to come this weekend, you're going to love this too. Cause I'm also just to let you know, come August, we are doing something for the 2-day war, GCW versus JCW, because Andrew, one of our other hosts, covers JCW too. So we've been following this whole saga. It's great. Anyways, continue.
But no, like JCW and Mystery Wrestling and love and light of my life. As like I said, as big an AEW fan as I am, there is one promotion that I will always love more than anything else that has ever been put into the wrestling world. And you guys don't cover it here because I would have recognized that logo. I'm like, I will clear my schedule to help you guys cover it. And that's Kaiju Big Battle. Friends at home and friends here on the pod, if you've never heard of Kaiju Big Battle, it is one of the most wonderful wrestling promotions you will ever see, because instead, like, these are guys that will do wrestling and fill the ring with an HO scale city, and all of the wrestlers are dressed as either Super Sentai Rangers or Kaiju.
Yes,
it is the best thing ever. I don't care what, and like, You want to talk about like WWE being realistic? Okay, you're literally hiring Jelly Roll and Logan Paul to fight. It's not realistic.
Ooh,
Okay,
tune in Sunday because we got a lot of feelings on that, but that's for Sunday.
Like, oh, wrestling. This is supposed to be serious. It's wrestling. You can dress up as a monster in a Power Ranger and fight in the middle of a city. It's great. Okay, have fun. God. Anyway, but like, so on
There's
that
so
note,
many fun stuff. Yeah, Fourth Rope was your choice.
that entire rant is to say, I want Fourth Rope to win this so that they can sort of establish themselves as like, yes, we are still going to be here. We are still going to be independent. We are not going to be roped into TNA and then, which is then going to get roped into WWE. Okay. It's like, yeah.
Welcome.
No.
Thank you for your TED Talk.
Yeah. That was the soapbox. I'm into the soapbox earlier. That's me getting on my soapbox. I'd like, come at me.
We'll talk afterwards because I feel like we need to because you're not the only person who feels that way. I need to connect you and Andrew, who is basically our lead for anything of the independents that we cover here.
Yeah.
And I just happen to be along for the ride, which I love. But anyways, I digress. Now, after all of that, JT, I come to you. So this is on the Countdown Show, Team TNA versus Team Fourth Rope. Who you got for this one?
Well, I'm gonna go with the safe pick, and I'm gonna go with Team TNA. But
Fair.
I would really like it if it kind of turns into a pissing match between the three of them while they're trying to go up against.
Yes.
And it may turn into something in the long line, but I'm going to go with them.
That's very true. Hey, you know what? Technically, last week they were trying to kill each other for this championship, and now they're on the same side, which we know is great. I'm going to keep mine short. I'm picking Team Fourth Rope. I don't have as, amazing reasons as Radio has said. Mine is very selfish. I want to see Zilla Fatu and Steve Macklin fight. That is all I need. Well, that is my reasoning. That's and fair. If Zilla can win, and if Fourth Rope wins, and if somehow Macklin gets pinned in this, listen, Zilla versus Steve Macklin would eat. I would love it so much. But I'm going to go with Team Fourth Rope because I feel that we could keep specifically these three here because we know the tapings are going to be happening soon. So who knows? We'll see what happens with all that. But let's get into our other match on the Countdown Show. This is for the TNA Knockouts Tag Team Championship match. I am kind of bummed because before last night's episode, this was slated on the main card. And I'm kind of mad that we are pushing this to the Countdown Show and replacing it with the System versus Dark State on main card. But, I'm not the booker. I don't work for TNA. I'm going to be super simple here. Started out great. We kind of lost the plot and it got convoluted with Ashley also being number one contender for the Knockout Singles Championship. I love the Elegance brand. I'm going with the inspiration because we have already dismantled Spitfire. The Elegance brand have kind of beaten not only a lot of TNA women's knockouts tag teams, but they've also defended it against the NXT women's tag teams as well. But I think it's inspiration's time to run with this leading into Bound for Glory. So I'm going with the inspiration for this one. We're going to go down. So JT, I got you next. Who you got walking out as Knockouts tag team champs?
It is going to be a dirty fight. That's how I see it. It's going to be, people are going to grab people and pull them out of the ring. But I'm with you, Mikey. I want inspiration to throw the Elegance brand down a peg or two again because I can't even put into words. It's just inspiration. I'm going inspiration.
And finally, Radio. Who you got for this one?
Hold on. Inspiration.
Awesome.
Nice.
Cool. We love that. All righty. So the three of us have selected the inspiration. Hopefully they walk out as champions. We shall see what happens. Now let's get into the main card of things where we got a lot to discuss as well. Do I really need to go down the line? I'm pretty sure we're all unanimous in picking Indy for this one.
Actually, no.
Interesting.
I think
Mutiny.
it's going to be Tessa because I think they want to build this feud a little bit harder.
True. That's also a possibility.
I think they want to keep this feud going because Indy just got here. So, and I think they want to build it. So they want to build the feud so it will be Tessa winning. That's my prediction.
I love that. Dissension. No, I'm just kidding.
Dude, like, and I want to state for the record that is simply me as as a creative writer type,
Right.
not who I actually enjoy as a performer. It is no. I think just in terms of the narrative they're building, they want this to be a longer term feud. So Tessa.
I cannot wait to see.
That'll be an interesting one.
Yeah, honestly, I would love to see this carry into Bound for Glory. That could be a lot of fun too. But let's get into our next match, which I'm just like, I don't know who to pick.
I think I need to borrow Will's coin.
I know. I was like,
because so there's who I picked, but in the you're literally choosing the lesser of two evils.
I don't know who to pick. Because on the one hand, I love both of these guys. Ali is probably the best, in my opinion. Ali's character, while has kind of gone flatlined for a little bit, his run here in TNA has been great. But you also have Cedric Alexander, who is also phenomenal, wrestling ability and all. I know I'm hoping this is not the only time these two are going to fight each other. I hope we get a series of 3. But the question is, I'm going to go with Ali in this one. I think Ali takes this one. I think Cedric takes the second one and then do something crazy for the rubber match. But I'm going to give it to Ali in this one, even though it hurts my little heart because I don't like betting against Cedric.
And I feel very much the same way, but in the opposite direction. I think it's going to be Cedric as much as I like Ali. I think it's going to be Cedric.
Fair.
I kind of have to agree with Radio because I'm going with Cedric on this one, but I want it to be one of those things that it kind of shakes the ever living shit out of Mustafa Ali.
Yeah,
and like either he like kind of regroups with himself, maybe like I don't know something, but I want this to be the shakeup that'll cause the next 2 to be absolutely epic.
Mm-hmm.
Oof. This is going to be a good match. I was just like, ooh, give me 205 Live in TNA. Give me WrestleMania, their WrestleMania match part 2 here. They going to go ham. I'm so excited. TNA, you need to give these men 20 minutes. I'm just putting it out there. Give these men time. So, I'm excited. So let's move on. So now we're getting into all the championship matches that we got going on. And this is actually, no, I lied. I forgot. The System and Matt Cardona versus Dark State. I'm going to be so for real. I am so mad that this is on the main card and we pushed out the women's the Knockouts Tag Team Championship match for this. I don't care about this match. I only care about Matthew Cardona. And that is the only reason why I don't even know. I was like, I don't care, you guys. I really don't. But I'm only picking the System and Matt because it's Matt Cardona. And I'm just like, NXT is in TNA territory. So I feel like if they lose, it doesn't matter because NXT's not doing a lot with them anyway. So it's like, who cares?
So can we just pick that they all have a really good time?
You know what? I am here for that.
We'll make the choice that everything is going to look artistically wonderful.
But head buried in the sand, I'm going with System and Matt by default because I was like, I can't. Matt, you're the only person I like in this whole entire thing.
Same Z's.
Heel versus heel match.
Yay.
Who gives a shit?
It never works out very well. Like,
no. It better, it actually, I kind of hope that this blows up into something more than what you're seeing here. Like they're just using this as a front, and then like something bigger happens in the background.
Well, and one thing that this actually did lead me to, this may, you know what, long term, this may turn into the dissolution of the system.
Could be.
Because I feel like it's a potential face turn for that guy who's actually friends with Matt Cardona.
Brian Myers, yeah.
Thank you, him. Yes. Like it could be a face turn for him, and if Moose does start feuding with Sami Callihan, like we've alluded to earlier, it's going to leave the other two kind of out in a lurch. So it could, like I said, if Myers turns face to team up with Cardona, then the other two, it may turn into a feud with the other two.
True. Could be very, very interesting. But System and Matt Cardona, I have down, and I'm pretty sure we all have down. So I agree with you, Radio. I hope they all have fun. So, okay. So this is where we get into all the championship matches next, because that's all that's left in these predictions. But there is some heavy underlying things and implications for this one. So the reason I didn't include the segment into the actual review, because I want to talk about it here, because that Hardy promo that we got in the episode, where they alluded to the fact that it's go big or go home, that if they can't get the job done and reclaim these tag titles, maybe that's it for them and they should hang it up. And Leon Slater is the #1 fanboy of the fan club, like rah-rahing them up for this whole thing. And I'm just like, I don't like those implications, Matt and Jeff. I know that we're at the tail end of our in-ring careers. I totally understand that. Please don't leave TNA. Please. I know y'all said you want one more run in WWE before you retire, but no. Please don't leave me.
I have a feeling that this isn't going to be it. I think this is going to be one of those ones. The Hardys are going to take it. It's like a cliffhanger.
Wait. Do you think this is this begins basically the equivalent of the Hardys' final championship run, a la John Cena's current run?
I hope not.
I think what's going to happen is they're alluding to the fact that they're going to retire soon. It's not going to be during Slammiversary. At least I hope not. But I think it's going to be one of those things. And there's another match in Slammiversary that we're going to get into. But I think it's going to be one of those things that they're finding the new Hardys. So they already have Slater. They just need one more to be able to make that perfect tag team. And then they can go, we're done. See you, bye.
Hear me out. The Hardys lose this match. They aren't able to get the tag titles again. But and if they are as close to retirement as they alluded to, we do get one more year out of them. One more year, one final one last big run. But here's the thing. The fact that they could not claim the tag team titles breaks Matt again.
Broken Matt Hardy.
We get one more run of broken Matt Hardy.
Ooh.
Yes.
Okay.
So first I want to say, character-wise, AJ Francis, I still have issues with, but I like First Class as a team. But I also like Casey. Glad to see that his knee is doing okay, because that was a scary fall a couple weeks ago.
I mentioned earlier that of rooting for one guy named AJ in this pay-per-view, and it all comes down to the fact that, is AJ Francis as good a wrestler as AJ Styles? Absolutely fucking not. They're completely different categories. However, I've seen a lot of interviews with AJ Francis, and dude is one of the coolest, one of the chillest people.
He is a giant teddy bear.
Exactly.
He is so much fun. I love him so much.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. Look up clips of his show on A&E where he's going around looking for
legend memorabilia
relics of of his time in WWE, and he's just like nerding out with like he meets Bob Backlund, because Bob Backlund is the guy that ended up with the Sheik's Persian clubs, and he's just he's like a schoolboy going in there going like, "Hello, Mr. Backlund, it's an honor to meet you, sir. I was told that you might have Mr. Hussein's clubs. Might I be able to use them, sir?" It's adorable.
So
He's just
good.
the coolest person, and it's because of that, and like I said, the fact that he is kind of aiming for this, Rick Ross meets Ted DiBiase kind of character.
Yeah.
I am in the AJ Francis fan club. So,
and I'm gonna be so for real. This match, is it gonna be wild? Yes. Bodies will be flying everywhere. Happy to see that Trey is okay enough to be in this match, and then he's like, I'm gonna go get this hernia surgery afterwards, and then we're all good. Please don't hurt yourself even further, Trey. But I'm gonna be so for real. This match is gonna go crazy. It's for me really is coming down to the Hardys or the Nemeths. I'm gonna be honest that if I had to do process of elimination, I think it's gonna come down to them. I am picking the Nemeths to retain only because I hopefully and selfishly I want it to lead into what you were saying, Radio, about Broken Matt Hardy coming back and getting one more run with them as the Broken characters. But this match is going to go crazy. I really hope that Jeff paints all the ladders again, like last year, which was crazy to watch too. I was just like, this man is painting ladders. This is fantastic. Just make sure that if there are table spots in here, that we do full rotations, because I still have that image in my head. The last time the Hardys were involved in a crazy ladder match. So,
hey,
also,
I'm just going to say for the record, if they're this close to retirement and they want to get one more run out of their characters, I'm just saying, Adam Copeland and Christian Cage are in the process of reuniting over at AEW. You guys could do the thing. You could do the thing.
It could be. That's so crazy.
And I'm sure, and I know he's kind of on a Legends contract, but I'm sure Bubba Ray would come over too. If you guys want to just full circle the TLC match. Just saying.
I mean, that could be a lot of fun. Personal feelings aside from Bubba, yeah.
Unfortunately, I do remember hearing that Devon is capital R retired. So
yeah, unfortunately.
Although Devon's kids are a tag team in the Indies right now somewhere.
Mm-hmm. But it's crazy watching the wrestlers, that we grew up watching. Now their children are in the business too. Mm-hmm. It's like, this is a wild time to be in 2025.
I didn't realize it until Matt had said they have been wrestling for over 33 years.
Yeah.
Which is equal to, damn, we're old.
We're 44. He was wrestling when I was 11. I was like, oh, wow.
There are videos online where you can find, I think it's Jeff. You can find videos online of Jeff jobbing out to Razor Ramon. Not Scott Hall, Razor Ramon.
Wow.
Damn. Wow. Listen, I'm 32, but I'm still, I was like, it's crazy being a wrestling fan. We're all in the double digits in some capacity and just, anyways, but yeah. So, Nemeths for me. Hardys for, of course, JT, because this man is never going to bet against the Hardys, which we love.
Yep.
And Radio, you also have the Nemeths, correct?
No, I didn't actually cast my vote here.
Oh, sorry. My bad.
That's okay. Just, I think it is going to be the Rascals.
Ooh, interesting.
I am going to say Rascals on this one. Actually, no. Hold on. No, not Rascals. Because especially if that one guy does have to go for hernia surgery, then he's going to be out for a while.
But to be fair, though, because again, first, don't ask me how, but remember, the Rascals was technically a 3-person ensemble. So even if Trey has to go, we still have Myron Reed running around too in TNA as well.
Sure. You know what? I think actually, it's a ladder match, meaning there's no DQs.
Correct.
You know what? I'm going to pick the dark horse, and I'm going to say First Class.
Woo! Here we go.
Because
I had a feeling you were going to say that.
My reason being, it has nothing to do with me being, like I said, a fan of AJ Francis.
Nope.
I think Trick's going to get involved.
Ooh, that's also very true.
I think we're gonna get a Trick Williams run in, and he's gonna interfere, and that's gonna let Casey scamper up that ladder and grab the belts.
Yes. That's exciting. I'm not even going front. But yeah, bodies will be flying. This is gonna be a crazy match. So the votes have been casted. Leon Slater, moving on.
Slater.
I was going to say he needs this because he lost to Moose back in what was
he
that?
lost at Rebellion. We were so close.
He lost at Rebellion, and that
me
really
and Mama
pissed me
Laguilla
off.
were so mad he lost.
Put it this way: if Leon Slater loses this, you may need to find another guy to watch TNA with you guys. Because
no, don't leave me. No, I'm so.
If
for
the
real,
Hardys
though.
and Leon Slater, if the Hardys and Leon Slater end up losing both of their matches, I'm out.
Because oh my god, and that would be so like if we do get sort of the return of the broken Matt Hardy, you have Leon there is like no, guys, like I have a title, like I'll hold it down for the Hardys here, you know, and that's obviously not going to be good enough for Matt,
which is fair. But yeah, to me, this is one. Well, this match and the other two we're going to talk about next. To me, in my little head, I was just like, this has to be, we need to send the crowd happy in certain parts of this pay-per-view. This is one of them.
Yes.
Leon has been here for the last 2.5 years. He is amazing. He has had bangers against the likes of Josh Alexander and Speedball Mike Bailey. This kid screams face of the X Division. This is like one of your big baby faces right now, and he is 22 years old. Let this man, who his moniker is the youngest in charge, become the youngest X Division champ. Like, come on, TNA, do the right thing and give the trigger. Pull the trigger on Leon Slater, man. Let him run with the championship. Gosh, please. Anyways, we all have Leon Slater. We move on to this one. Oh, wait, it skipped. Hang on. Oh, my God. Okay, there's so many implications for this one. Of course, this is the updated graphic because prior to this, I had where JC is. It was JC or Jordan Grace. But of course, after Evolution, it ended up JC since she's retained. There are so many things and so many implications for this. But just like Timeless Tony Storm, Masha is one of those girls that I can never bet against, and I don't care if I lose a point for this one. And I'm going to be so I'm going with Masha. I'm going with Masha here. And again, I think JC has come such a long way from when she was first introduced into this whole crazy universe of the rebranded NXT as to what we see during the Nickelodeon slime era, as I called it, with the multicolor font of NXT. However, that being said, I think Masha becoming double champ here is good because, again, Masha has more seasoning than JC does, and I think Masha can have a match with anybody. Shit, she's had almost an 800-plus day reign as Jersey champion, like Jersey wrestling champion, and she's proven that she can take down any woman or man. Oh my God, you guys. On a side note, if y'all are looking for Masha outside of TNA, you need to go watch her match against Mance Warner in GCW. That match was crazy. But I'm going with Masha here. Like Timeless Tony Storm, I don't care if I lose a point. I can never bet against my girl here. So I'm going with Masha to walk out as a double champ.
I'm going to give it to Masha as well. Although sitting here realizing that means she's going to be holding the NXT title, it makes me realize that this match it's like it feels like I'm worried all over again about the potential of unifying these things and just sort of assimilating TNA into as another brand of WWE. You know what I mean?
Right. So
I'm gonna give it to Masha, but I'm still having that I'm having that moment when, after Oppenheimer dropped the bomb of like, oh shit, what have I done? Kind of thing. It's that's kind of, I'm looking at it right now. Like I am become Death, the Destroyer of Worlds, and this is
There are some cataclysmic
Yeah.
fallout from this, but JT, I'm gonna come to you. I think I know who you got, but on the record, who you got walking out as a double champ?
Always Masha. Like that's that Masha. Masha is pretty much the Hardys and Masha are my two. Like I will not bet against them. I don't care if I take points. Like this is the first when Rebellion kicked in and I got to see Masha. For me, I was like, that's it. That's my girl. She's gonna be the go-to whenever they're like, hey, who do you think's gonna be Masha? I don't care who they're up against, Masha. So yeah.
Right. So finally, I also have Masha. So finally, we get into probably what's main eventing Slammiversary, which is the triple threat for the TNA World Championship. Trick Williams defending it against Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. I'm also going again. I am also picking with my heart. Don't care if I lose the point based on the trajectory of where everyone has been for the last 6 months to a year. I'm going with Mike Santana. I still believe in Joe Hendry, but I think it's Mike's time to run with it since being here in the company for the last year and a half since coming over from AEW. So I'm going with Mike Santana because I want him to win so bad. All right. JT, I'm coming to you first. Who you got for this one?
You pretty much said everything that I was about ready to. I'm gonna pick Santana as well. No, it's okay. I want to see him win this because I know that everybody's had their time and they're amazing between the three of them. But they've been highlighting a lot of stuff for Santana, so I think that this is kind of one of those things that he needs.
Alrighty, Radio, come to you. Triple threat, and as we know, crazy things happen in these things.
Yeah.
Who you got walking out as TNA World Champion?
So I'm looking at it from the overarching story,
right?
That this entire pay-per-view was telling, right? And with this NXT invasion going on, and let's face it, WWE invasion. If AJ Styles is going to be there, it's a full-on WWE invasion now. WWE is not going to let their guys look weak. I want more than anything to see Mike Santana win it. I'm not sure he's going to.
That's a fair assessment.
Put it this way. I'm going to say Trick Williams. Please prove me wrong. I will gleefully lose the point on this. Okay? Please take this point away from me. I don't want it. But I will take it if I win it, But it's one of those things of I will be very sad about winning this point.
But yeah, so alrighty. Well, we lock in, we submit these picks on the Google form. They are finalized. They are in. That post will be going up Sunday morning. Yeah, we are less than 2 days away from Slammiversary happening this Sunday. So this is about to be a wild ride. So that concludes our TNA review for this week. Next Friday, we will be doing the full-length review of Slammiversary, but the weekend is just as packed. So we got a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Tomorrow evening, Saturday, the GCW boys will be getting together to do a live watch along for Bash at the Ballpark. Where, hey, look, hi Masha, how you be? Girl is booked and blessed. She is everywhere right now. But Bash at the Ballpark, GCW. This is where we are getting the GCW debut of Priscilla Kelly, which makes me so excited. And then Elena Black, Effie, Matt Cardona, Masha Slamovich. But we also got some amazing indie talent like Ringo Loco, Ninja Mac is going to be there. We also have some other stars. Jonathan Gresham will be taking on Deanna Perazzo, which is going to be a fun time.
Wow. Yeah,
so it's going to be a great time. But then Sunday morning is the WWE review where lots of things are happening. We are less than 3 weeks away from SummerSlam, so things are kind of going butt fucking wild at WWE right now. So tune in for our puzzling review. But
I can't wait to see your guys' review of Jelly Roll versus Logan Paul.
Oh, you get a double dose. If you get the review afterwards, but you can get our initial reactions because we'll be doing a watch along for both nights as well. This is going to be
I'm not what I refuse to watch that show.
No, what I'm saying is
I'll hear the review.
You're watching us. You'll watch the review or you watch us react to it in live time during our watch along. So it's going to be crazy. But speaking of watch alongs, though, we are doing a live watch along this Sunday for TNA Slammiversary. At least I will be here, and if my boys can, we'll talk afterwards because this is a Big Four pay-per-view, and unfortunately, TNA Plus doesn't include these Big Four pay-per-views unless you pay, for it. Which I was just like, don't do this to me, TNA. I'm poor out here. But we'll talk about it because we'll figure it out. But we will be doing a live watch along for TNA Slammiversary. We will not be doing a live watch along for the Countdown show, so we get to watch that in the comforts of our own stuff. But we will be live for the start of the main card at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern. I can totally do time difference math. And yeah, by the end of it, we are either going to be walking out happy, we're going to be walking up with pitchforks and torches, or a mixture of both. Who knows? But yeah, so I'm excited. This is going to be a fun weekend. I cannot wait. This is going to be really good. But that is going to be it for us here for the night. Takedown Troupe. I would like to thank JT and Radio for being here with me this evening. And for all of you watching at home, thank you for tuning in. But we got to get up on out of here. So thank you so much. We hope that you come by this weekend for all the activities going on. And from all of us here at the BC WrestlePod family, remember, take care of yourself, love one another, stay biconic, and more importantly than anything, you always deserve to finish your story. We will catch you for a weekend of fun. But until then, sayonara, adios, and until next time, peace.